Good morning, my little chickadees. So I drank a gallon of water yesterday throughout the day. I actually didn't start till probably around 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon. I did have my big juice in the morning, but pure water. A gallon of water, 128 ounces. And I feel hydrated. I don't know what else to say. I didn't have the weird residual headache I get at the end of the night. So we'll see. I'm gonna try repeat that today and see how I feel for a few days of that much fluids. So time to put away the holiday washi and then the rest of the stuff. And then I noticed, I don't know if I mentioned this, but one of these washi tapes from Dollar Tree turned out to be just paper. There's no adhesive on it, and it's just paper, so it's kind of weird. Don't know if has anyone else encountered this? It's the rainbow with the glitter strip one. It's very, very strange. I went to go use it. I'm like, oh, well, that's not adhesive tape. It's just rolled up paper. So I don't know if it was a malfunction in the fabrication or if it was really intended to be that way. So no idea. Don't really need my gloves at the moment. I did come in from outside, got 4 eggs from the chickens, washed their water containers, filled them up with hot water because it's really frigid out today. So hopefully they will, that prevents it from freezing too quickly. And they do have the little heat lamp on in their coop. Although I did notice it was pulled up, so I don't know if that happened overnight or if they tried to fly out of their playpen. Not really sure, but 4 eggs so far, so we'll see. There should be one more today. They've been on pretty steady production of 5 eggs a day. Look at this. It feels like 8 outside. I'm okay indoors. The dogs go out, do their business, come back. The chickens are, with a heat lamp, and I put an extra layer of shavings in their coop just to give them a little more comfort. I might even look into seeing if I can get like a heating pad. I know there's a special one they can keep outdoors and put that underneath their shavings. Hopefully that'll warm them up as well. Although this kind of nasty cold is not typical for us. Although it does happen. Anyway, what was I just rambling about? I told you about my water. Oh, I feel bad. Polly's out in the elements all day. UPS trucks don't have air conditioning and they don't have heat. So it's pretty much, fend for yourself. So I sent him off to work this morning with a pair of hand warmers. So we'll see. And today's pencil is this silver glitter with white eraser. All sharp and ready to use. And I use pencils every single day for work. So, because I write little notes to myself, and especially when I'm doing code, I need to write something down. Like, I know this makes no sense to anyone but me, but it's code that I have to fix for a couple of things. So, I think we're making, when I say we, I really mean me. I'm making stew today. We had some leftover onions and peppers from last night's fajita steak salad, so I'm going to just throw that in the stew. I was going to originally make it in the crock pot, but to be honest, crock pots are a great option. It's a great opportunity to do something low and slow. But for me, who works from home and can kind of babysit things a little more than someone who works outside the home and has to leave, I find that cooking the stew in the oven gives it a lot more flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep it around lunchtime and then put it in the oven on low and slow, like maybe 300. And by the time dinner time comes around, it should be succulent. The meat should be nice and, fall apart, and the flavors will have developed. I have that beef stock that's open, so I can use that. I'm planning on putting in carrots, celery, onion, mushrooms, and red bliss potatoes, little red young potatoes. So that's what's going to go in there, and I'm going to cut the stock with some water. So I'll probably check in with you guys around lunchtime when I go to do that and show you my steps, because What's a day without cooking? I don't know. Cooking just gives me comfort, and I love feeding people. It gives me a sense of accomplishment. You know, I made something with my own hands. I also love baking, like bread and cakes, but we're really trying not to have a lot of that around, because if it's around, it'll be eaten. So, and I've been doing this little stash away plan every time I make something, even although last night's meal didn't afford a full leftover meal, but when I made the soup, which we'll probably have tomorrow, because I'll probably bake a fresh bread so we can have the cream of mushroom soup with a crusty fresh bread. I like to stash away, well, I've been trying to stash away at least portion or two if possible, in the freezer. That way, when we're having a completely lazy night, instead of reverting to, oh, Polly, just stop on the way home and pick up something, or let's order in, we'll just turn to our freezer stash to see what's there. I've been doing that kind of off and on. Polly's not a huge fan of leftovers, so I kind of have to make sure I either freshen them up when they're thawed out, or make them not taste like they're from the freezer. So, and that's another reason why I've been dating the things that I put in the freezer, in order to keep track of, when stuff is just past, normal use, or if it's just about to expire. And the other thing that I need to do is I was going to take inventory of our basement freezer to make sure I have a list of what's in there. For example, when I made the oven fried chicken on our anniversary, Polly got that chicken fresh, because for the life of me I couldn't remember if we had chicken in the freezer. And when I was putting stuff away from the grocery shop that he did as an anniversary present to me off my list, I saw that we had chicken thighs in the freezer downstairs. So that's one of those things that just slipped my mind. It's impossible for me to keep track of everything. So I'm going to start writing it down. I'll do an inventory of the freezer downstairs as well as the freezer in the kitchen, just to make sure that I have a full list of what we have available. That way I'll be sure to not double buy, because that's waste, especially if it's something you already have on hand, and not let things go to waste because they've been kicking around in the freezer for so long. So I'll check in with you guys around lunchtime when I go to start the stew, because that's enough rambling for right now, right? Well, I'm ready to start the stew, so I'm gonna cut this piece of meat, I don't even know what it is, boneless chuck roast, into chunks, and then I'm going to dredge it in a little bit of cornstarch. That will help thicken the sauce when it cooks. Sear it first off, and all the fond that's going to be in the bottom is going to be perfect to saute some of the vegetables, carrots, onion, celery, and then I will put everything back together. And this is the leftover peppers and onions from last night, which were already sauteed, and I'll throw in a few cracked or squished garlics whole, and then we'll put this together along with a couple of cans of button mushrooms. So I have my pan heated. It's on almost completely high, like medium high. I have a tablespoon of coconut oil in there, which actually I'm going to turn down so it doesn't smoke. And then I'm going to tab some of the corn starch over the cut pieces, and then toss them in there and fry each one on each side, and then reserve them. So the meat has all been browned. Oh, let me turn the light up. See, all browned. It's not cooked all the way through. And look at this delicious fond at the bottom. So I'm going to add all the veggies. So I have carrots, onions, and celery. And I'm just going to saute them and then start adding a little bit of liquid, and it'll bring up all that deliciousness off the bottom. So I'm going to grab a wooden spoon to get that. It's almost ready. I've sauteed the vegetables. Now I'm going to add some smashed garlic. I'm just going to leave it like that because I like when it somewhat disintegrates in the sauce. I'm going to add all this beef broth. I'm going to add the meat back and see how much room I have for potatoes. We might actually have to cook the potatoes separately. So I'm definitely going to add water too. But let's add the meat back and see how much room we have. Alright, so everything has fit so far, and I have some potatoes, and these are just young red potatoes. The larger ones are quartered, the smaller ones are just halved. And I have one bay leaf, so I know there's only one in there, because I don't have room to use my infuser. And then I have some hot water, and we'll see how make this all fit so everything is under liquid. Wish me luck. Well, everything fit, and look, there's still a little bit of headway, and everything is underwater. I tried to push as many of the potatoes under the liquid as possible, and I didn't need all of that water. Now I'm going to bring it up to a boil and then pop it in the oven to cook at 325 for a while. I'll check in about an hour and a half or so, and I'll taste the flavor, see if it needs any additional seasoning. I added one more thing. I added about a quarter to half a cup of red wine, and because it's so very full, I'm going to pop this in the oven on a cookie sheet because I really would rather not clean up a boil over at the bottom of the stove. It's much easier on a cookie sheet. I'm not going to show you the screen on my computer because it does this warpy weird thing, and you know, I just don't want anyone to have a seizure looking at my screen or watching the video. But we just had like a giggle fest. So Paulie came home and he goes, "Have you ever had Turkish pistachios?" I'm like, not that I recall. He goes, "They're so delicious." I'm like, "Well, where can you get them?" He goes, "Nuts.com." Okay. I'm like, "How did you have them?" "Well, Kevin," which is his work wife, must have gotten them for a present from someone, and he gave him some to try. Really? Yeah. Okay, long story short, I go to check Nuts.com. Sure enough, they're available. But the shipping's kind of pricey, but it said if you order in the next 17 minutes, we'll have them delivered tomorrow. Tomorrow? Really? That fast? So I ordered them. And some roasted peanuts salted in shell, because we really enjoyed those salted nuts we had at Five Guys Burger. And fries. Anyway.
They're really good.
So I told Paulie, I said, "Just for the record, in this house, don't throw shells on the floor."
Oh my God.
I said, "I'll give you an empty bowl, you'll throw the shells in there." Not that I felt like well, yeah, I guess I did have to say it because I said it. But then
it could happen.
It could have happened. And then Paulie says, "It's like saying." Nuts? He said it's like saying, don't shit in the sink.
You can't say that in public, can you?
I just did.
All right. Basically, you're right. I mean,
some things should be understood and goes without saying, but I guess I felt to reinforce the point. Don't throw shells, peanut shells. What restaurant? Is it Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah.
Wait, they have peanuts. Oh, there you go. That's even closer, probably. Texas Roadhouse. They have peanuts.
You want to go there tonight?
No, I don't. I'm making dinner. Why would I want to go there? Anyway, so there's the giggle. Giggle for today. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell, but it is super windy outside. Howling. Creepy. But the house smells yummy because we have stew in the oven. And I just heard the heat turn on. So it's just about getting dark. So it's about 10:05 or so. So we'll probably eat in about an hour or so. I'm going to see. Maybe Paulie will go out and check the grills one more time because I think should be one more egg. Other than that, I think I'm just going to pop a couple of those buns from the freezer into the oven to cook in 8 minutes. We're just about ready to eat, and then we'll have some fresh bread along with our stew. It does smell really good in here. So the stew is done. The house smells delicious, so I'm going to pop some bread in. Just those little buns. And look, I went to stir it and found the one bay leaf, so easy peasy. Pull it out and throw it out. And that's dinner in a bowl. Paulie already has his. This is mine. I just took some pictures. So, what do you think, honey?
Oh my God. Is it good or what?
Or what? It smells so good. House smells great. We have some bread, So I'm gonna butter up a roll for myself and join hubby for dinner. And that's gonna be it for me for today. Thank you so much for stopping by and keeping us company. We do appreciate it. Don't forget about the thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everyone.